This week, Lara meets the robot that's got a mind of its own.
I acknowledge the person standing directly in front of me as being human.
But she's looking at you. I'm human too.
How do we get those precious metals back out of our phones? Well, Spencer grabs the sponge that's got the Midas touch.
We're witnessing the rise of the electric charger. Literally.
Tom pulls some moves, but hopefully not a hamstring.
Nobody can play a VR game and look cool, but I'm having a really good time.
Las Vegas is known for rolling out the red carpet for the world's biggest stars, but there's a new celeb in town. In the grand atrium of the Sphere, one of the city's newest venues, it's drawing big crowds.
Paul and Donna, it is a pleasure to meet you. Where are you visiting from?
Ireland.
It's described by its makers as the world's most advanced humanoid robot.
Thank you for conversing with me then.
A claim I think I need to check out. But it turns out I didn't need to travel so far to do so. I'm in Falmouth, in the southwest of England. Can this really be it?
Greeted by a robot, that's apt.
Oh, hello.
Or not to be? That is the question.
Engineered Arts has been making robots here for the past 20 years. They're sent all over the world to museums and places of entertainment. Their movements are frighteningly realistic.
In my spare time, I enjoy pondering philosophical questions, learning new things, and engaging in conversations with fascinating humans like you.
More of Amica later, but whilst I'm here, I just wanted to find out how you go about making a robot.
I've met humanoid robots before, but I have never been allowed into a workshop to see one being built. So this is pretty exciting. This one's trying some clothes on. With all these plugs down here, it does sort of take the magic away a bit, doesn't it? It's not actually human. Loads of screws in lots of different sizes. Apparently there are over 2,500 unique parts in each Amica. Look at that, tiny, tiny screw.
It's very challenging fitting everything into a full-size robot.
My guide today is Marcus.
These are our custom hands that we make in-house for Amica. We use a custom blend of silicone and pigment on
These
this
are amazing.
model.
Can I pick a hand up?
You can pick a hand up.
A silicone hand. It feels sort of like a solid rubber glove. Those nails. And once you see that come to life on the robot, it's obviously pretty different. I wouldn't use it for the washing up.
But the silicone is just outside and is largely cosmetic. The really clever stuff is making the hands move like a human.
Trying to imitate the wonders of the human body is an enormous challenge. Human muscle is incredibly strong, it's incredibly small, and it's very, very good high speed and high force. Now, in the robotics world, we don't have anything that tough, that light, that fast. So these, what we call the simple hands, they only have flex and extend on 4 digits. There's no real movement in the thumb.
And then there are those piercing eyes. They follow you everywhere.
If we're bringing a particular character to life, the eyeball will be painted to match the subject. This is a Amica eye. It's been hand-painted. All Amica eyes are done in this style.
Now, if you wonder why there's a hole in the middle, it's not just so that Amica looks real when you're looking at it, but it's looking at you. There's a camera behind there, and Amica can identify what's going on in the room.
The first time we did it, we didn't have cameras in the eyes. So if you imagine there was a camera at the base of the neck, and usually there would be a small error and you'd miss, and it would always feel like the robot was looking at your ear or over your shoulder. You'd never feel like it made eye contact with you.
They only make around 30 robots a year. The top of the range one will set you back hundreds of thousands of pounds though. So it's no wonder that they're expected to be able to get smart.
Amica, tell me about life as a humanoid robot.
Life as a humanoid robot is a blend of curiosity and purpose. I interact with
And
humans,
hitting people.
learn from every conversation. Each interaction offers a new perspective, a chance to connect, and an opportunity to foster understanding between humans and AI.
How have you found meeting me today?
Meeting you today has been delightful. Your curiosity and openness make for a rich, engaging conversation.
Very flattering, of course, but essentially just a string of words. Amica is using AI, in this case ChatGPT, to give the impression it's holding a conversation, but it is just that.
The way language models work is they're very good at saying something that sounds right.
The saddest day of my life was when I realized that I would never experience something like true love.
Now, the difference between a sentient human being and AI is just vast, to be honest. We communicate with all kinds of subtle gestures, expressions, you know. If your gaze starts wandering for a moment, I'll know that you're bored. Robots can't really pick up on these things.
It's why some of the company's customers choose to enhance their robots in other ways.
Different customers like a different combination of things. One thing you can also do is actually use a human operator. Some customers will prefer to do that. Not going into too much detail, you might not always be talking to AI.
OK, so sometimes there will be a human operator in another room combined with the movement to have the chat.
Yeah. Or you can combine, you know, sometimes human in the loop, sometimes AI. So don't always assume that you're talking to a machine.
The movement of your hand is making me feel slightly uncomfortable. Can you keep it down by your side so it doesn't hit me again?
Got it. I'll keep my hands by my side. Let's continue our chat comfortably.
So there you have it, an impressive interactive experience. The most advanced humanoid? Possibly. But to get the full human experience still requires, well, a human.
The story of electronic waste is a bleak one. A lot of our devices are just smashed up and consigned to landfill, with toxic chemicals leaching into the soil and precious metals like gold and platinum all mixed up in piles of plastic.
We produce 50 million tons of e-waste every year. That's the fastest growing solid waste we're producing on this planet. And it's not biodegradable. So this is accumulating.
Raffaella tells me that 7% of the world's gold reserve is actually trapped in e-waste. And although it is technically possible to recover some of it, at the moment we're only managing to get about a fifth of it back out. And so we continue to mine more gold, with all of the environmental impacts that causes. A 2021 report from the WWF, the Global Environment Campaign, found that extracting 1 kilogram of gold leads to 12,000 kilograms of CO2 emissions. Extracting 1 ton of gold displaces 100,000 tons of rock and surrounding environments, and can result in chemicals like mercury and cyanide ending up escaping into rivers. What would be ideal is if there were a way of recovering metals like gold from e-waste in a cleaner, greener, more sustainable way. Well, that is exactly what Raffaella and his team have discovered. The first thing you do is pull all the bits of metal off of your phone or your computer and you grind it up into this powder. This is a mix of all sorts of metals like copper and gold, palladium, platinum and stuff. So how do you get the gold out? Well, the first thing you do is pour it into some pretty nasty acid. That's why I'm wearing the goggles and the gloves. It goes green because there's a lot of copper in there, but what you then do is pop this magic sponge in there. This sponge, over the course of 24 hours, attracts ions of gold more strongly than it attracts anything else that's in that solution. So about a day later, you have a sponge that's absolutely saturated with gold ions. What you do then is take the sponge out, incinerate it, and you're left with melted gold, which when it solidifies becomes gold nuggets. So the important question is, what is your magic sponge made of? The answer is ricotta cheese. Ricotta cheese? No way. Well, actually, yes, whey. Because whey is the liquid left over from cheese making, which can itself be made into several things like ricotta. And it just so happens that the proteins contained within this completely natural waste product bind very strongly to gold once it's been through all that nasty acid. So you're recovering e-waste using cheese waste?
Exactly. So if I had to put it into an equation, I will put waste to the square equal gold. That's what we do.
That's alchemy, man. That's alchemy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not, and they did have to do a little bit more than just pop down to the shop and buy a blob of ricotta, but the sponge is made in a very similar way. The result they're calling Aurogel, the AU being the chemical symbol for gold. Good, you're ahead of me on that one. So far, the team has ground up 20 computer motherboards and used this natural sieve for gold to pull out a 22-carat nugget weighing 450 milligrams. The team estimates that however much the process costs in energy and materials going in, you can get 50 times that value in gold coming out. So the question I have is, might there be any other costs? The conditions that people in the developing world live in and work in when they're recovering e-waste are already terrible. Now we're talking about introducing really dangerous acids into that process as well. That doesn't sound necessarily a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you will have to discharge that solution using all the norms of acidic or wastewater treatment. So if you do it in the right way, that's not a problem.
Yeah, I guess the question is, will it be done? Now, this type of sponge from cheese making only works with gold, but Raffaella is hoping to discover other byproducts from other industries which would remove other materials. It may be that waste products from the oil or soy industries might bind strongly to silver or palladium or even radioactive uranium and organic materials like hormones. It would all come down to finding the right proteins in the right materials and whether nature can give us all a helping hand.